I am gushing over this prospect. What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Is your boy HMK once again, trying out this mic for the last time. Let me know how that's going. But there has been a reveal of a game that would pertain to a lot of us within this community when it comes to what it's inspired by and influenced by, which is now confirmed. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Reynatis. If you haven't seen my reaction video or the trailer or anything like that, Reynatis. That's right. It is a game that got revealed during the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase, the Japanese-only version. But don't worry, we have confirmation that the game is going to be released on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PC. Now, if this game is going to be localized or not internationally is yet to be seen, but I will champion that ride, that prospect. I want it to happen. Please bring it to a worldwide stage. It is being published by Furyu and has a lot of notable people attached to the project when it comes to Square Enix fans. And when you look at this trailer and when you hear it, you can check it out in the description box below. You hear and feel a certain something. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy at all. It is being directed by Takumi Asube, and it's also being written by Kazushige Nojima. You know who Nojima is. He writes a lot, or contributes to the writing of a lot of Final Fantasy games. The Kingdom Hearts series, he works closely with Nomura in terms of writing a bunch of the Kingdom Hearts titles, if you didn't know. And of course, he helps write most notably the Final Fantasy VII compilation and whatnot, and he is writing this game. But why is he writing this game? I'll get into that in a little bit. And it's also being composed by Yoko Shimomura. Must I say more? Must I say more? I don't need to. Y'all know who she is, the goddess of gaming music. And the key art was created by Yosuke Naora, who is known for making art and key art for the Final Fantasy series. Now here's the thing, right? Nojima, Shimomura, and Naora, they are all freelance workers now. They used to work for Square Enix or Squaresoft way back in the day, but they have since left the company and gone freelance, but still contribute to the company whenever they get hired or tapped on in order to come back when it comes to their more original works or works they have contributed to in the past. And, you know, there's not, like, a lot of people get the idea of bad blood. It's like, no, just like, they leave the company for other better prospects and the ability to work for other companies, such as this, right? And you would think from off the bat, like when we look at Reynatis, it seems a lot like Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, especially Versus 13 or Verum Rex, which if you didn't know, of course, Versus 13, there's a whole big video, a bunch of videos on like how that development went. Of course, Versus 13 is Nomura's baby, but Nojima was the original scenario writer because Nojima and Nomura worked together on a lot of projects. And then, of course, the project went from Versus 13 to 15, and it's looking like a lot of concepts are being made anew in this game and along with that of Verum Rex. And you would wonder, okay, why isn't Nomura attached to this project? This seems like a very Nomura project. And, you know, it does have a lot of flavors, but Nomura is not the only one that's contributed to projects that are very Nomura-like. And he said it himself in interviews, especially when going into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's because Nomura is a Square Enix employee. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that he can't contribute to other games, because he has in terms of design and, of course, things outside of gaming media. When it comes to the album covers of Utara Hikaru, and then he also designed a version of Miku Hatsune Miku, whatever. The point is, he is an employee of Square Enix and he still contributes to other companies, but not in a main role, because I would think there is some sort of like non-competitive clause or anything like that. So like when you say, oh, but he worked on Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I'm like, yes, he designed the Torna. He will, of course, had his name attached to that, but he was only one of the many contributing artists and designers to the overall game, while still being employed by Square Enix. So before people like, oh, take this as a slight against Nomura, it's not because of that. It's, you know, taking that into account. And then the director of the game, and here's the big kicker, the director of the game confirms that they were inspired by Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy, which were games they played growing up in terms of the dark fantasy that you can find in something like Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy games. And that's why they went after Nojima and they went after Shimura, and like, oh man, Reynatis looks so cool, and the gameplay, it's an action RPG. It's being touted as a juvenile action RPG. I don't know what they mean by that, but I mean, like, it still looks cool. And what we saw so far, what you're seeing here, is just a teaser. So I can't wait to see the full gameplay. Now, the biggest themes when it comes to this game, and in terms of the gameplay and the story, is oppression versus liberation, in which it deals with the game's narrative, and it's also a battle function in the game, because the main characters, Merin and Sadi, and Merin looks a lot like, come on, Merin. Merin. Yozora, Noctis, you already know. And they even have a pose that seems a lot like verse 13, where Merin and Sari like are standing against each other, that kind of look like Noctis and Stella. You already know. Anyways, Merin can go, and Merin, sorry, can go from two different modes in gameplay called oppression mode and liberation mode, and switch between gives you different gameplay options and attacks that you can do. And it goes into the overall narrative, in which it takes place in a modern day, very realistic Shibuya, which I'll get into in a little bit, in which magic exists, but magicians are oppressed, envied, they're looked down upon, feared, hated. And of course, there are people that are born or gain magic through natural-esque means, free means. Like, Merin is a sorcerer, a magician, that has to hide the fact that he's a magician. Because if he were to be liberated, if he were to liberate himself and show that he can use magic, he will be hunted down by the police force that is headed by Sari, in which the military force in Shibuya are all made up of magicians, but they're like government dogs that are like, okay, we need order. And then Merin wants to be free. He wants to be like, magic should be free. No, magic should be the sustenance behind the order and must be controlled. So that's like the big premise to that. And a big deal of this game there deals with peer pressure and how society should view you and what you want to be within that kind of society. Sounds really cool to me. Sounds super cool to me. And when it comes to Shibuya, a lot of people have noticed that in Shibuya, the 109 building is the 109 building. And usually in games or in media or in anime or anything like that, they can't really do that because the 109 is copyrighted. But they did state that this version of Shibuya that we're seeing in this game is going to be as realistic as possible, including real life stores and brands and names that are going to be in the game. And I'm like, dang, how much would that cost to get that copyright? That's beefy, right? So that's probably why we see the 109 building and not 104, 105, 101, 107, 110, anything like that, because 109 is copyrighted. But it looks like we are going to get as much realism in this world of Shibuya as possible. And that sounds like a pretty penny to me, but that seems really, really cool. As we can see from screenshots, we can see some very famous locales for Shibuya. And the reason why they chose Shibuya is because not only is a famous beloved landmark in Japan, it's a very beloved landmark in Japan, but it's also a very recognized landmark in Tokyo, Japan, that is recognized worldwide. So, I mean, when you look at this, you're like, okay, we're in Japan, we're in Shibuya, we're in Tokyo. You know, it's one of those three things. At the very least, you know we're in Japan when you see Shibuya. So that's why they chose it, to have that recognition. It's like, okay, we are here in Japan, Tokyo, Shibuya. That's why it was chosen. And the gameplay looks incredibly fast-paced, super cool. And we're gonna have party members, and like, I want to know how big the Explore World Shibuya aspect is going to be. And they also confirmed that what we saw was a teaser, and we're gonna get the first full trailer February 26th, and you know we're gonna be reacting to that. And I know you guys are gonna like what you see there. If you haven't seen this game from what you see in the green screen, check out my reaction in the description box below. This is not sponsored, by the way. I'm a sucker for this. I need more of this. This game comes out in July, and I really hope that it does get localized at one point. But if it doesn't on the first day of release, on launch, I'm getting it. I will learn Japan. I will have my Japanese translation notebook right here on my side as I play the game. I'll be like, okay, all right, that means, all right, got it. All right. Oh, another cutscene. Okay, they're saying, all right, got it. No, you don't understand. I'm in it to win it. I'm jacked in. Let me know what you think about Reynatis in the comment section below, and if you are excited and if you want this game to be localized worldwide. Until the next video, until the next trailer, it's coming really soon. This has been your boy HMK, and I'll check you guys later.
So you haven't subscribed to HMK yet? Don't piss Zemnis off.